Romanticism began as a spark in the dark. A rebellion against the dry logic of rules and routines, a devotion to feeling, imagination, and the belief that love could lift us beyond the ordinary. When we crack open modern love stories, that same spark glows in the margins, guiding characters through quiet rooms and crowded streets with a steady, hopeful glow. It's as if the poets whispered into the daily. The way a glance holds a spark. The way a single breath can redraw the map of your world. And the way two people decide to trust the unseen force that draws them together. In this story, you'll hear how that old flame still shapes the way we fall in love today. How it teaches us to persevere. And how it promises that a true connection can bloom again, even after the rainiest days. From the outset, Romanticism taught us that emotion isn't the enemy of truth but its brushstroke. It asked us to notice the way a hill looks at the sun. The way a streetlight flickers in a late-night walk. The way a letter pressed between pages carries the voice of someone who's not quite near but not quite gone. Modern love stories borrow those habits. They lean into the ache of distance, the slow building of trust. The way patience becomes a language all its own. I think of a couple who meet in a library aisle. Two people who reach for the same book and instead reach for something more delicate and enduring. An inkling that the world can widen when you aren't afraid to write a shared sentence. The romance isn't a sprint, it's a patient, listening heartbeat. The Romantic era treasured the individual, the inner life. And the sense that truth lives inside quiet moments, the way a hand brushing a sleeve can feel electric. The way a whispered admission can turn a room into a sanctuary. Those ideas became the architecture of modern love. Scenes built not on grand declarations alone, but on the many tiny commitments that add up over time. A partner might choose to stay when the other is fragile, or to learn a language of patience when pride makes a wall feel safer than a doorway. Those choices aren't soft or sentimental, they are the scaffolding of something sturdy and real. And when the outer world feels loud or unkind, those intimate acts become a countersong. A reminder that love is resilient. In today's stories, you'll notice how the sublime returns as everyday magic. It might be the way rain beads on a window and becomes a private lullaby for two people who know how to listen. Or a sunrise that finds two hands already joined, no panic, just a shared breath. Romanticism didn't vanish into history, it matured. It learned to balance feverish longing with steady trust. To honor curiosity without rushing into certainty. To keep the ideal alive while acknowledging the messy, imperfect nature of real people. That balance is what makes modern love feel possible and honest. It's the knowledge that love isn't a rescue mission, but a journey you choose to walk with someone else, step by patient step. The romantic gaze also reshaped how we tell stories about longing. The beloved stops being an unreachable statue and becomes a person who grows with you. Sometimes in small ways, learning to share control of a plan. Learning to forgive what wasn't said. Learning to prove that devotion isn't a dramatic spark but a repeated, gentle act. In this way, the old hero and the new partner fade into a single, evolving figure. Someone who invites you to dream aloud. Then helps you build that dream into a life. And in those revelations, a modern romance becomes less about chasing a perfect scene and more about choosing the right person again and again, through the weather of life. Perseverance, in these stories, isn't a dramatic chorus but a quiet chorus. Mornings that begin with a shared coffee and a plan to get through the week. Letters found in an old drawer that remind you of promises you made to yourself as well as to another. Small rituals that say you're in this. You're active in the work of staying, of growing. Romanticism whispers. Beauty survives not by erasing the ache but by letting the ache be heard, seen, named. And then carried gently towards something tender. The couple learns to navigate the ordinary pressures, the pull of careers. The weight of family expectations. The fear of losing a version of themselves they've known for years, and discovers that the resilience To keep loving is a form of courage as radiant as any battlefield victory. And yet, the beauty of romanticism in modern love isn't merely in resilience. It's in discovery, the rediscovery of who you are through the eyes of another person who sees you clearly. Who names your strengths the way a lighthouse names the rocket guards. The romance you're invited to believe in asks you to risk vulnerability, to reveal your imperfect, radiant self. And to trust that another imperfect, radiant person will hold your truths with care. It's not about flawless heartbreak avoidance. It's about choosing the right partner when life reveals its hard truths. About choosing to stay and be changed by someone else's honest heart. And about allowing the relationship to change you for the better. Not to hide your light but to illuminate it more brightly. This is where the old ideals of the sublime and the power of imagination meet the rhythm of everyday life. The couple's shared imagination planning a future. Creating space for vulnerability, choosing to forgive. Or choosing to restart becomes the modern myth in small, intimate form. The gesture matters. A letter tucked into a pocket for later. A song that is rebuilt piece by piece until it finally fits. A date that's less about grand drama and more about rediscovering the music that first drew them together. Romanticism invites us to believe that love's most significant acts are not always loud or visible, they're the stubborn, patient choices that keep two people choosing each other, day after ordinary day. Until the extraordinary arrives by accident or by design. If you're listening with a heart that's been cautious and a little wary of romance, this is for you. The message is not to chase a flawless ending, but to cultivate a story that deserves a happy ending because it was tended with care, respect, and time. Romanticism reminds us that love grows where attention goes. When you pay attention to the small tendernesses, the warmth of a morning kiss, the relief in a sigh after a long day, the mutual respect that keeps disagreements from becoming wounds, you plant a garden where happiness isn't a rare bloom but a steady harvest. That is the true transformation. Believing again that a life can be richer for loving and being loved. That happiness is not a destination but a voyage you brave together. So when you think about the romances that move you, remember the bedrock idea: romance isn't a single spark, but a living chorus that continues to sing through time. The classics gave us the vocabulary. Modern storytellers give us the cadence, the way to hold hands through fear, the courage to forgive, the art of making a dream big enough to share. Romanticism shaped modern love not by erasing the earlier ages, but by inviting their passion into present-day rooms, into kitchens, train platforms, classrooms, and quiet balconies where two people decide to press on, to listen, to grow, and to believe in a future where love can be nourished and found anew. If you felt your heart drift toward hope while watching two people navigate imperfection toward something meaningful, you felt the old invitation, the one romantic poetry whispered into the ordinary, waking us to the miracle of connection. And that invitation remains open. The stories we tell now, the ones we tell tomorrow, will keep carrying that flame, a flame that warms, guides, and endures. Because in the end, romance isn't simply about a spark that catches. It's about two people choosing to keep the light alive, day after day, until the world itself seems to brighten with them. Sometimes romantic moments arrive in the pause, when a glance holds a promise longer than a sentence. Life tests that promise with work, illness, or distance. And yet the couple returns to the vow, tending it until it becomes bloom. And in the quiet after the storm, they learn that love isn't a steady chorus. They keep choosing each other, not to erase the past but to honor it, to let it teach restraint and tenderness. The page turns softly, the story ends a chapter, then begins again with mornings and late nights, and small rituals that prove devotion can endure, grow wiser, and glow with patient romance. May we believe in endings and beginnings, and that love is worth waiting, together. And in the quiet after the storm, they learn that love isn't a steady chorus. They keep choosing each other, Not to erase the past but to honor it. To let it teach restraint and tenderness. The page turns softly, the story ends a chapter. Then begins again with mornings and late nights. And small rituals that prove devotion can endure, grow wiser, and glow with patient romance. May we believe in endings and beginnings, and that love is worth waiting, together.